Hyundai just went online bragging about being the reason 475 people were just arrested. It didn't go the way that you thought, did it? Because the way that you were so happy to share with the world voluntarily that you were the one that contacted ICE, that got that Hyundai plant that was in the middle of being constructed completely shut down, and over 400 people arrested, most of them being Koreans, which you seemed kind of confused about until you realized that Hyundai is owned by Koreans, and that the reason they had so many people from other countries here was because they knew they were going to have to train Americans to do this job, because all of their instructions from Korea were in Korean. So they got approval to send people here to the United States to construct their massive facility in the way that you were like, now look, there's over 475 jobs that are now going to be available for people in Georgia, because they weren't giving these jobs to Georgians. That's right, they couldn't give these jobs to people in Georgia because none of them spoke the language. And her narrative of bringing 475 jobs to people in Georgia are making the world laugh, because anyone who understands that they were just constructing this facility, this was going to be a facility that would have given nearly 9,000 jobs to people in Georgia. She had zero concept of that. All she saw were people from other countries in her state, specifically in her town, and it upset her so much that she contacted ICE and said that she was doing it because they had unsafe working environments and they weren't getting paid enough. So she contacted ICE. Because of her fight for the people of Georgia, they have lost all of their people who were going to train them for the jobs that this facility would have brought. The owners of this facility, the investors, the people paying for it and bringing all of these jobs into the state of Georgia, are now threatening to can it all. That's right, they are going to shut down this construction site, and they are not going to continue building their facility that would have brought almost 9,000 jobs to her state. Would have not known any of this had she not come online and bragged about it. Oh, and she's also running for Congress.
Can you imagine threatening someone's life, threatening them on the phone, threatening them on Messenger, threatening their kids, and then when they clap back, you say, oh my God, how dare you talk to me that way? You're running for Congress. You should be more of a Christian, when your behavior is anything but Christian. I love it when the atheists lecture people. You know, y'all are the poster children for the mental health reform we need in this country. You really are.
Hyundai? Yeah, so you dense, dumb, and stupid. For you to sit up here and admit that you called ICE, causing a raid for Hyundai to lose over $1 billion, stop operation, and prevent a whole bunch of people of getting new jobs. You are so proud of yourself that you are responsible for almost 500 people getting deported that were sent here to bring jobs to Georgia. It was your blatant racism, but you're trying to justify it, saying that it was slave labor and that they were getting paid a low wage. Ma'am, you don't care about those people. You do not care about those people. You did not want these people in your country. And you're so slow that you did not understand why they were over here, you numb nut. I'm trying to calm down, but I get so tired of you people. Yeah, you people, you know the terminology y'all like to use. I'm so tired of y'all with this savior complex, thinking that y'all have to be the hero in every scenario with a situation that has nothing to do with you. And I just got to get this off of my chest. May the odds never be in your favor. I hope every time you get up in the middle of the night, you hit your pinky toe on the side of the bed. I hope bed bugs eat your ass up every night. And yeah, that Congress seat that you think that you have in the bag that you're going to win, may you lose it. May you have the life you absolutely deserve.
Charlie Kirk had this to say while he was visiting South Korea last week.
Okay, everybody, I'm here in Seoul, South Korea. As you can see, everyone, they have these like inflatable cushy chairs. Everyone is reading. This would last about 35 seconds in most American cities.
Charlie Kirk saying we should be more like South Korea. I find it absolutely hilarious how just a couple of days later, this lady, Tory Burnham, I don't know, I can't say her last name any better than she can say Hyundai, proceeds to call ICE and has close to 500 people working on the construction of a brand new Hyundai plant in Georgia, one of only 2 in the country. causing them to be detained. And we know that at least 300 are South Koreans that are currently on their way back to South Korea. So this lady single-handedly, at best, has delayed the opening of this plant. At worst, if it was me and I was the South Korean president, I would say, you know what? I'm not going to open that plant there. And oh, by the way, I'm going to close the only other plant that's in America. Because understand this, the majority of Hyundai's profits don't come from Americans. And then the president saying, maybe we'll just get some people to teach us how to make those batteries. Fuck no, don't teach them. That's proprietary information. Absolutely not. One woman with one phone call has potentially cost Georgians 8,000 jobs, not to mention all of the other potential economic stimulus that comes from these jobs. Good job, lady. Good job. It has to be exhausting being racist.
So I be wondering, do these damn Karens just wake up and be like, who life can I fuck up today? Because did y'all hear about that lady that called ICE on the Hyundai plant workers? It was 450 workers. She done called ICE on them. They done all came and ICE done detained them all. But I guess they had to be illegal immigrants for them to detain them all. But damn, why do people go out of their damn way to make somebody suffer? That's 450 families that they got out here that they not gonna come home to. That they gonna have to get a call and get the news that they father or uncle or brother or cousin ain't coming home. Because you just decided to wake the hell up and call ICE on the whole plant. And now they talking about South Korea mad. Why the hell people can't mind they damn business? That be taking it to, like, that's take 450 people. Her name is Tori Branham. Y'all can go look it up. Y'all, that is sad.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Echo Room Vibes. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves today, because we need to talk about one of the wildest stories I've seen all week. And as always, credit to the originators and stitches of this video for breaking it down and putting the spotlight where it belongs. So let's just dive into the rest of the video and we'll be back for more commentary.
The only people that are mad about this raid in Elabelle, Georgia at the Hyundai mega site are probably people that don't pay taxes.
Shut up, loser. When you think MAGA can't be any dumber, they up it. They up the ante every time. LG and Hyundai are Korean companies, correct? You can correct me in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure they're both South Korean companies, right? And so Trump worked out a deal where they bring some of their manufacturing over to the United States. They settled in Georgia, which is good for Georgia's economy. It's also good for the local workers as well, for them to be able to get a job. I want people to understand something. When you bring a company over from another country, it is not uncommon for them to bring workers that actually know. Those workers, 9 times out of 10, are not just working the lines. They're training people. They're training people to get the job done, okay, the way that they want to do it. It's creating more jobs. And I live in Douglasville, so I'm right next to Carrollton, right? It's not even done yet. I don't think the warehouses and stuff are actually done, but they're coming over here to work on the cars, but also they're building out more buildings here in this little countryside. So, baby, you stop them from working. You know, South Korea is like, we're going to bring them home. The people that know how to do this, we're going to bring them home. That's going to also slow down production. Yeah, we're going to get them the fuck up out of there before they get hurt. Which is going to fuck up other foreign agreements, which is going to fuck up other things because they see how you guys treat foreigners. Y'all, that racism and bigotry is expensive. And we're about to pay the price.
The way these people were being treated is what matters. I didn't know a damn thing about the Koreans. That wasn't my dish, and obviously that's being investigated because they had work visas that had expired.
First of all, Tori, you look like the love child of Kate Gosselin and Mama June. Second, you should see what the President of the United States has to say about this, because he's walking this back as well.
It's a battery factory in that case, as I'm told. And, you know, when they're building batteries, if you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people.
Because Hyundai, pronounced like Sunday, not Hyundai like you're saying, is a Korean company. So it makes sense in this instance that Hyundai would send Korean nationals over to train people as those factories are being built. And I notice you have your comments turned off on your most recent video, so it sounds like someone can't take the heat. Because you potentially royally screwed up the Georgia economy. You're risking potentially up to 8,500 jobs. And you said that you didn't know that there were Korean workers there, which means that you probably didn't know anything at all. Because if it's already difficult for you to pronounce Hyundai, then, you know, I'm assuming that a lot of other things are probably difficult for you too. But anyways, have the day you deserve.
Karens don't call the manager anymore, they call ICE. And in Georgia, that phone call shut down a whole plant. So over the weekend, ICE raided the Hyundai plant in Georgia. And you know who set it off? A woman named Tori Branham. Yeah, Tori picked up the phone and called ICE like she was reporting noise in the neighborhood to the HOA president. But no, she was reporting workers. And here's the kicker. She's running for Congress as a Republican. Now, here's the part they don't really want you to know. Most of those workers from the raid were not undocumented. They were actually here legally through a government program. The government knew it, and Tori knew it too when she made the call. But still, ICE showed up anyway. Because see, let's be real. None of this is ever about legality. It's about making sure folks know they're not welcome. And that, you all, is the American-made truth. When Karens run out of neighbors to call on, they go call the feds. Because see, Karens are American-born, bred, and raised. And their natural habitat is other people's business. So while Tori is out here weaponizing ICE as her campaign commercial, you need to understand the bigger picture. This is what happens when xenophobia isn't just tolerated, it's actually rewarded. The system doesn't need you to be guilty of anything. All it takes is one phone call from a wannabe congresswoman, and boom, lives flipped upside down. So Georgia residents, y'all better pay attention. Because if this is what Tori does as a resident Karen, imagine what she'll do with a seat in Congress.
Welcome back, fam. So here's the headline. A woman in Georgia, who by the way is running for Congress, literally went online bragging that she was the reason nearly 500 workers were arrested at the Hyundai mega plant construction site. And if you think this was going to make her look like some kind of hero, oh no, the internet is dragging her through the mud. Let's set the scene. She proudly announces, "Yep, I called ICE. I'm the one who shut down the site. They had illegals working there. Now those jobs are free for Georgians." Sounds like she thought she was saving America one phone call at a time. But here's the kicker. Those 475 workers weren't just random illegals. Most were Korean specialists flown in to train American workers because the entire instruction manual for this Hyundai plant is written in Korean. The plan was clear. Build the plant, train the locals, and then hand over thousands, yes, thousands of jobs to people right there in Georgia. So when this woman brags about creating jobs for Georgians by calling ICE, what she really did was sabotage the pipeline that would have brought almost 9,000 long-term jobs to her own community. Instead of helping, she might have destroyed the whole deal. That's not patriotic. That's self-sabotage on a statewide level. And this is where we need to pause and ask, what's the real motivation here? Because if a concern was really about working conditions or low pay, there are actual labor boards, state agencies, and unions for that. But she didn't call OSHA. She didn't call the Department of Labor. She called ICE. That says a lot. Now, the bigger irony here is how people frame protecting American jobs. It's the same cycle over and over. Scapegoat immigrants, point fingers at foreign workers and ignore the fact that the employers, the corporations, the contractors, the state politicians are the ones making the hiring decisions. If you're mad about it, direct your energy at the white-owned firms that are signing the contract, not the workers trying to build a better life or simply doing the jobs they were flown to America to do. And let's talk about the collateral damage. Hyundai and investors behind this plant are reportedly threatening to pull out altogether. Think about what that means for the local economy. We are not talking about 475 temporary positions. We are talking about the possibility of losing an entire auto plant, thousands of permanent jobs, billions in economic growth, and all because somebody wanted to score political points by showing how tough they could be on illegals. And here's what really sticks with me. This isn't happening in a vacuum. We are living in a moment where people confuse fighting for the people with creating spectacles that actually hurt the people. There's a difference between exposing exploitation and cutting off an entire community's economic lifeline. And in this case, this so-called whistleblower didn't protect workers. She jeopardized them and everyone else in the region. Let's zoom out. Immigration raids always hit the same way. The workers get punished, families get torn apart, but the people signing the checks rarely see a consequence. If Hyundai subcontractors or local firms were cutting corners, why aren't their executives being cuffed in the same chains we saw those workers in? Why is ICE always knocking on the trailer doors of laborers instead of the boardroom doors of the corporations profiting off their labor? And maybe the hardest truth is this. She thought she was exposing corruption, but all she really exposed was how little people actually understand the global economy they are living in. Hyundai isn't just another job site. It's a multinational operation with layers of approvals, visas, and training pipelines. Shutting that down doesn't fix the problem. It breaks it in ways that ripple far beyond one community. Now the woman at the center of this, Tory Branham, is trying to spin this like she saved exploited workers from modern-day slavery. And look, let's be fair. If people really weren't being paid or were being trafficked, that's horrific and absolutely deserved intervention. But here is the uncomfortable question. Do we trust ICE, the very agency known for raids, detentions, and deportations, to be the rescuers of exploited workers? Or did she just hand them over from one bad situation into an even worse one? That's the tension, and it's a conversation worth having. If you care about worker exploitation, you fight for better protections, better pay, and accountability for the corporations. You don't make yourself the hero in a viral video while hundreds of workers sit in detention centers. So yeah, America is dragging her, and maybe rightfully so. Because this wasn't about protecting Georgians. This was about optics, about clout chasing, about political positioning, and the cost of a clout? Possibly 9,000 jobs and a deeper wedge in the already fragile conversation about immigration and labor. So I'll leave you with this. If you're in Georgia, if this Hyundai plant was going to bring thousands of jobs to your state, how will you feel about one person bragging online that she shut it down? And more importantly, who do you think is really responsible here? The workers, the woman who made the call, or the corporations and politicians who set the conditions in the first place? Let's talk about it. Thanks for watching. From Echo Room Vibes, peace out.